Alright guys, here's day 2. We're going to move into some lower body strength today. Again, we're going to start with a warm-up. We're going to start with two of the same things that we had done yesterday. So we'll get started there. First thing, we'll lay on the side. Top knee forward, arms forward, rotating around. Looking for that rotation in the spine. Bring that shoulder blade as close to the ground as you comfortably can, keeping the hips in the same place as they were. You can just kind of sink into it, find that comfort zone. 5 on each side. And I know Linda said she can't do rotation here, so just do the same one as yesterday, and I'll quickly go through what that one is. And anybody can do this one as well next, but it's not a focus that I'm having for everyone quite yet, but there's no harm in doing it. There'll be a kneeling forward reach here, looking for some back extension, and you're getting rotation in the shoulder as well. But anyway, it'd be 5 there. So next thing we're going to move into here is that kneeling hip flexor stretch again. So we're going to get into that starting position, 90 degrees at the knee-ish, straight up and down, knee up through your head, shifting forward, getting that stretch in the front of your hips. And rotating one way. Like I said, I like to support my back right where it kind of connects into the hip, just to make sure there isn't any arching. And again, we want to keep our torso as upright as we can here. Otherwise, it's kind of negating the idea of stretching our hip. The idea is to bring our leg relative to our torso behind us. Alright, so now we're going to get into it here. 4 moves. We're going to go through all of these 3 times. First thing we're going to start with is a glute bridge. So with this one, bonus points if you have a band that you can use. If not, no problem. But if you do have one, you can throw that on just above your knees here. Lay on your back, knees bent, feet about shoulder width apart. And we're simply going to raise our hips up, pushing up with our glutes. Keep your knees out. The idea of the band is that it's going to want to pull you in, so you just resist that band. Just make sure your knees stay out, in line with your feet. We're going to do 10 of these. I'm going to hold it for about a second at the top each time. Okay, and as we're finishing up here, the next thing we're going to move into is going to be a standing side leg raise. If you're worried about your balance, you can always be next to a wall, have that hand there, but we're going to do standing side leg raise. So bringing this leg out to the side, trying to work the muscles on the exterior of our hip or our glute medius, that kind of stuff. So we want to keep our hip pointed forward. So what that means is just we're not trying to rotate and point our toe up out to the side. We're trying to keep our toes forward. And again, if it's just too much balance, just make sure there's a wall there. Try to use it as little as possible, but you can have it there for safety. We're going to do 8 on each side here. The reason we want to use the wall as little as possible is because we can actually get the planted leg, that glute, to be working to help us balance and get more muscle activation that way as well. Try to keep your torso as upright as you can. About to move. Alright, so 10 of the glute bridges, 8 each side of these side leg raises. And now we're just going to move into a traditional squat. If you have weight, that's great. That will add some difficulty to this. But if you're a beginner and you just want to use body weight, that is fine too. Or just the fact that you know you're going to be working out 5 days this week and you want to make sure you don't completely fatigue yourself, that's fine too. So I'm going to use weight here. You don't have to. So we squat down. The weight is staying, our weight is staying on our heels. Trying to keep our torso kind of as upright as we can. We don't want to come forward like this. You can see I'm trying to keep my torso upright. So you can limit your range of motion based on how much you can handle it. If you're new to squats, it might feel like you're going to fall over. If that's the case, grab a chair, set it right behind your heels, and go down, and that way you know if you do lose your balance, that chair is there and you're not going to fall. So that's a safety one there. But otherwise, get as deep as you can without lifting your heels. Most important thing for this is that our back stays neutral. You know, we keep that lumbar curve and that our heels stay down. Don't let those heels lift. So again, if there's a point where you're getting too low and your heels always come up, don't go that low anymore. 8 of these. All right. Oof, I'm feeling it already. All right, and same thing here. You can use weight or just do body weight. So what we're going to do is some form of a lunge. I'm going to do a reverse lunge, which means I'm going to stand here and step back from that point. And then the bottom point is going to be about 90 degrees. That point where we're stretching the hip flexors before we started it. And then stand back to the top. Switching sides. And we're just going to do 6 on each leg. If this is crazy bothersome to anybody's knees or anything, it's going to be a modification here. First of all, if you're using weight, don't use the weight anymore. If you have any knee issues. Other thing is we're going to take the step out of it and you're just going to be in that position. So this is called a split squat. And what you'll do, again, if you're worried about balance, have a wall to the side here. And you're just going to go right down there. Okay? Kind of like a pulse, you know, where knees not coming all the way down. That heel you can see never coming down. That front foot is planted in the back. It's just the ball of my foot. And both sides, we're doing 6 each side here. So the lunges you can alternate. The split squats you'll want to do all the same side at once. Again, if you're feeling any knee issues, do not add any weight and limit your range of motion. If the lunge is still too much, do that split squat where we take the step out and you're just in that position. So you can see here, we just want to be an elevator straight up and down. We don't want to come forward onto that leg. We want to come straight up and down. That's why we work on the hip flexor stretch though, so that it is more comfortable to come down, because you might feel a little bit of a stretch in those hip flexors when you do that. All right guys, so we're going to go through those things 3 times. So that was the glute bridge, the side leg raise, the squat, and the lunge. So, you know, if anybody's having any issues with anything, do not add extra weight to any of them. The glute bridge should be pretty safe for anybody, as well as the side leg raise if you have a wall nearby. So if you have any questions, any issues, let me know. Otherwise, thank you. See you soon.